Minnesota Timberwolves made it to the Western Conference Finals last season. And although we are only just about 40% through the 2025 NBA season, I think there's cause for concern in Minnesota. Is it time to ring the alarm? Like, where is the panic button?
Right now. Ring the alarm. Yes, anytime Ant Edwards put up 50-plus points in the loss to the Pistons, I believe, there's a problem. Ring the alarm. And anytime that your franchise player calls you out, your team out 2 consecutive times, ring the alarm. Yes, ring the alarm. Mm-hmm. We are in panic mode right now, I think. You can't wait. They're what? Playing team as we speak? A playing team? When they were top 6 last season? Yeah, ring the alarm right now.
Oh, you know what? I know head coach Mike Brown was fired on his way to a road game. I think it's time for him to keep that suitcase packed because he might be heading to Minnesota. I don't think Coach Finch will make it through this season.
You think he's going to be the second one of the season?
He is. And we know the NBA is a coach carousel. We know that. And so Coach Finch is going to get off and Mike Brown is going to get on. I mean, he's going to do one of those backdoor interviews that they do. You know, oftentimes in the NBA, somebody gets fired. Next 2 days, somebody else comes on in. That tells me there was a lot of backdoor conversation. And head coach Mike Brown, I think he'll be a really good fit for this iteration of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What y'all think about that? Drop down in the comments and let us know. For me, I'm not mad at it. Mike Brown in Minnesota. I can get on board with that. That's nice. Y'all make that happen. NBA? Y'all make that happen. That's a good one. You know what? I will say this. Something needs to change because, unfortunately, this Karl Anthony Towns trade and bringing in Julius Randle, it hasn't unfolded for me yet. Nah. Mm-hmm. No. Considering that Karl Anthony Towns is thriving in New York, and New York is still looking good at the top of the Eastern Conference, and then you look over at the West, and what once was is now not, and one person that was a part of what was is now gone. Something ain't. The math is not mathing.
You know, Julius Randle is one of my top guys, and I don't think he fits into this system, mainly because Rudy Gobert is in his way. Rudy is in his way, and not only is Rudy Gobert impacting Julius Randle, he's also impacting my other guy, Naz Reid. The Timberwolves need to be active in this trade market right now. Like, this is not going to cut it in the West.
No, not this season, for sure. And when your franchise player is unhappy, he's not saying unhappy. But his play doesn't say unhappy because he still shows up and give 110%. But his verbiage is saying, y'all better do something. You don't want me to Jimmy Butler you.
Exactly. You know, Ant is very outspoken.
Oh, he don't care? He doesn't care, and I love that about him. I love that about his personality. So yeah, y'all don't want the NBA can't withstand 2 franchise players not wanting to be where they're supposed to be. So yeah, no, Jimmy Butler, we give him a pass because this is not his first rodeo. But Ant Edwards, up and coming. No, you don't want him to say, I'm out. I want out. You don't want that.
Yeah. A small market that is really benefiting from having him on the team.
Yes.
I mean, hey, you know what, though? Another thing I think the Wolves need to do is I think they need to get younger at point guard because Mike Conley, a lot of respect for Mike Conley. But come on, can we get a more dynamic point guard in Minnesota?
Who?
Don't ask me who. I don't know who, but I'm just saying Mike Conley is an old vet. Not
as a starter. I believe you should come off the bench at best. I agree. Swap him out. Just swap him out. Go ahead and just put Dante DiVincenzo as a start. Maybe that's what he needs to be doing anyway. Mm-hmm. Maybe he should, because as of December 19th, he finally got on board because he has been giving the Timberwolves all of him since then. So yeah, maybe the swap is that. Maybe let's just test it out. Mike Conley, thank you for your service. The second time around.
I'm sorry, but I think De'Aaron Fox would be a better fit at point guard, especially if they bring in Coach Mike Brown. I would not be mad at that.
De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle with Mike Brown may be a different. We may see less minutes with Rudy Gobert.
And that's the goal. It should be the goal for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh my! Let me think of girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, NBA fans. Can you imagine? I'm not mad at De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, dynamic. Used to coach Mike Brown. He's accustomed to him. There's also been talk about Brandon Ingram leaving New Orleans for Julius Randle. Julius can return to the Pelicans. I don't know about that. Brandon Ingram, he's kind of ball heavy. Like, he needs the basketball. He's accustomed to that.
Him and Edwards, huh? So is Julius Randle. So you just swapping one for the other? It's the same thing. When we're talking about ball heavy, want the ball. It's the same concept. I think they both do the same thing. Different players by far, but the same idea of that they both want the ball, and they both have had the ball in their previous, teams. So I can see why swapping them out may not be the best. Just keep Julius Randle. You know what? I will say this: their bench with Dante DiVincenzo, Nikhil Alexander Walker, and Naz Reid, they holding their own. Nice bench mob, I think. The Timberwolves need that because sometimes just the inconsistencies for me is just glaring. And when are they going to get on board? You're right. It's probably time for a new voice at the coaching level.
Yeah. I appreciate Coach Finch coming in with a busted ACL to coach last postseason. I appreciate that.
What have you done for me
lately? Yes.
Timberwolves edition. Yeah, Coach Finch, this may be it. Coach Finch did say that he has a starting lineup of 8, and 3 of them are from the bench. So again, get the right coach, a new coach in there, some new schemes, a different point guard. I'm gonna have to agree with you on a point guard. We may see a different Wolves team as the season progresses. They need to make that move immediately, expeditiously. Another difference I see between last season and this season is the Timberwolves defense. It's too inconsistent for me. One of the things they had on last season was their defense. And if they can get their defense back, I think it'll help them with their offense and maybe have them sustain more wins than losses that they're currently doing. So let's get that defense together, and maybe a new coach, you see the theme here, will help them with that.